Matthew Lands, a no-show in this Cobb County courtroom, formally waiving his right to appear. Judge Sonia Brown says she researched it and case law allows him to be absent.
And there is no authority that allows the court to require them because it is the defendant's right at that point.
Now, tears are flowing nonstop anyway, as victims describe the impact of losing Amber and Justin Hicks 4 years ago. Justin's father, Timothy, who found the home's break-in, says God gave Lands the opportunity to change his mind, and he didn't take it.
I can't speak for everybody, I speak for myself. But I forgive you. Because we all need the grace and mercy of God.
The couple's loved ones asked the judge to give Lands the maximum sentence possible. One friend saying, given the chance, she's sure he would kill again. Reporting live, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
All right, thank you, Veronica. Your weather for today. Showers moving in this afternoon and evening, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. And it's going to be warm, highs around 77. How about your weekend? We'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. The GBI this noon is investigating a hostage situation and standoff that happened earlier today in Lithonia. DeKalb police spokesman Blaine Clark says police were called to a home on Errol Drive.
Officers responded to the 7900 block of Errol Drive in reference to a person being held against their will.
Now, he says that there was a brief standoff. Gunfire was exchanged. That suspect was taken to the hospital. A man facing charges after a hit-and-run crash in Duluth that leaves his passenger critically injured.
Duluth police arrest 20-year-old Samuel Contreras Garcia after the single-car crash at the intersection of Buford and Duluth highways. The crash left his sedan pinned between a traffic signal pole and a utility pole. His front seat passenger, who was not wearing a seatbelt, was ejected from the vehicle and left with life-threatening injuries. Surveillance footage shows Contreras Garcia leaving the scene without calling for help. He faces several charges, including hit-and-run, reckless driving, and driving without a license. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
New here at noon, a bizarre story from correspondent Jim Crisula on a planned invasion.
Two North Texas men, ages 20 and 21, have been accused by federal authorities of plotting to invade an island off Haiti, kill all the men on the island, and use the women and children as sex slaves. Prosecutors say the 20-year-old man even enlisted in the U.S. Air Force to learn military skills to use in the planned invasion.
Among other things, he says that they also were learning the Haitian Creole language. An overflow crowd packing a DeKalb County Zoning Committee meeting as commissioners weigh new rules for data center development. Many residents voiced opposition, citing environmental concerns, noise and light pollution, and possible utility rate increases. As tensions rose, DeKalb police removed several individuals. As at Commissioner Michelle Long Spears' request, the committee ultimately postponed any action until the end of the year. Starting in June 1st, Cobb County residents will see a new stormwater fee on their water bill. Commissioners approving the $4.75 increase for infrastructure improvements. The increase applies to people living in unincorporated Cobb County and the city of Mableton. There is new information this noon about the source of that post on the CDC website, stating that studies have not ruled out the possibility that infant vaccines contribute to the development of autism. We get more on this story now from Jared Hill.
CBS News has learned no autism or vaccine experts from the CDC were consulted, and the change was made by political appointees. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
More than 100 genes have been linked to autism, and then maybe the environment or some other factor.
The claim that vaccines cause autism was sparked by a since debunked 1998 study in the prestigious The Lancet journal. 12 years later, The Lancet retracted the study after investigations concluded the research was fraudulent.
And the Autism Science Foundation saying in a statement today that the change on the website is, quote, anti-vaccine rhetoric and outright lies about vaccines and autism. Now your money. How do you feel about the economy? Most of us say not too good. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index for November is down 29% from a year ago to one of its lowest levels on record. Views of personal finances were the worst since 2009 and the Great Recession. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 620 at 46,372. NASDAQ is also in positive territory, up more than a full percent. So is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
And new trouble on the west side, Sabrina. It's a crash, I-20 eastbound, just past Riverside Parkway, exit number 46, left lane block causing some delays out of Lithia Springs. Over on I-20 into DeKalb County, you still got that left lane construction at Panola Road, exit 71, Sloaney from Wesley Chapel. And 85 southbound out of Duluth into Norcross, also a few brake lights from Highway 316 to Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored here at noon by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
Warm and humid today. We'll top it at 77. That ties the record high. Showers and a few thunderstorms coming in late. Showers increasing late afternoon and evening. The risk for some rumbles of thunder overnight. Saturday morning has showers. We'll start with a low of 64. Gradual clearing tomorrow afternoon, high 76. Mostly sunny Sunday, low 52, high 71. My 5-day forecast for Monday and Tuesday. Partly cloudy Monday, low 49, high 70. Showers and storms on Tuesday, low 54, high 72. Recapping today's forecast, 77, and rain moves in late. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
Right now in Johns Creek, it is 71 degrees, 72 in Conyers here in Midtown Atlanta. We have mostly cloudy skies and 72 degrees on Peachtree Street. We'll have more news at 12:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425 on this open line Friday. Get your turkeys out of the freezer and put them in the fridge today. I don't care what size it is unless it's tiny. You need to start thawing your turkey, but do it in the fridge, not on the counter, please. Not in a bucket of water. Do it in the fridge. Thaw your turkey. If you text the word data to 33777, that'll send you a link to my daily email where this morning I put up the recipes. There's a link you can go to and get all the recipes that you need for the holidays. Do your grocery shopping this weekend. I went grocery shopping last night at 8:30 p.m. There was no one in the grocery store. It was glorious. I got everything I needed other than there was a run on buttermilk, but that's okay. We'll be back. Now, we've got to begin, and I'm going to begin actually with my buddy Chip Roy in the United States House of Representatives talking about the Department of Education. I want you to listen to the congressman who will soon be, I hope, the Attorney General for the state of Texas. He's running for Attorney General in Texas. This is Chip.
Education, give it back to the states. Get out of the way. Empower states and parents. Expand choice. Expand those options, but don't fund bureaucrats. The president's right to dismantle the Department of Education. It was started in 1979. We put a man on the moon in 1969. Why do we need the Department of Education? We don't.
We don't. Amen and amen. And we have some data. And I got to tell you, they're a little bit gloomy about it because they can't blame Trump. This is New York Magazine. Student achievement has fallen off a cliff, and neither Trump nor the pandemic is to blame. You almost expect them to end with, oh, darn. Dang it, we can't blame Trump for the collapse in student education. It's actually, we've got more and more data out there, and you know what is the most galling thing to these people? Do you have any idea this is actually, like, really makes them mad? Progressives are upset because education, particularly literacy, is better in the South now than in progressive states. That's right. Did you know this? Have you heard this? I bet you have it on major media outlets. If you listen to me, you've known for a while the Mississippi success story. Mississippi now has one of the highest literacy rates in the country for high school graduates, and not on the rig test, but on the standardized tests. If you get to third grade in Mississippi and you can't reach basic third grade literacy rates, you're not allowed to progress to fourth grade until you do. They're holding kids back in Mississippi until they can read. The problem now is math. Math is actually becoming a problem, and it is a problem across the United States. And I've got some thoughts, but first, let me read you this from New York Magazine. Academic researchers have only just begun to examine the Southern surge. Some credit concerted teacher training, coaching efforts, back to basics philosophy that makes use of old-fashioned teaching tools like math flashcards. Some point to the science of reading, a phonics-based curriculum that Mississippi was early to embrace and that is now being implemented all over the country, included in New York City, which just announced a jump in reading test scores. Another thing that the conservative southern states tend to share is a continued commitment to test-based accountability measures, which their teachers have had to swallow because they have weaker unions. In Mississippi, children are also held accountable. Third graders who fail to show reading proficiency are held back by law, which may help to explain why its fourth graders test so well. There's a lot on literacy, but not a lot on math. I have to tell you, I think Common Core has a lot to do with the bad math scores because it detached parents from being able to help their children. If you don't understand what Common Core math is new math. In fact, they make old school math that you and I did in elementary and high school. They make it pejorative. They call it grandma math. And they tell the kids not to do grandma math. And they've complicated math. When I was in third grade, I had Helen Bruskus. Helen Bruskus was this fiery Greek teacher. She is the woman who taught me the love of writing and reading. She forced us every day we had to write. We had to write not sentences, we had to write paragraphs. And every day there was a topic and we had to write on the topic. And she taught us math. And the way we learned multiplication tables, I mentioned this on the radio yesterday, we sat around an old school record player. And she had a record for each of the numbers 2 through 9. 2 times 2 is 2, da-da. 2 times 3 is 6, da-da. 2 times 4 is 8, da-da. 2 times 5 is 10, da-da. 2 times 6 is 12. You had to do it all the way up. And then you did the threes. 3 times 1 is 3, da-da. 3 times 2 is 6, da-da. 3 times 3 is 9, all the way up. And I got held back from recess because I couldn't memorize. I still have troubles with the 8s and the 9s. It took me forever to try to memorize them. But you had to memorize them. Before you were allowed to do division, you had to memorize them. And everybody had to be together. And there was a certain time period you had to memorize this stuff for when you got to division. So when you got to 2 divided by 4 or 4 divided by 2, you know that is 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. And you got to be able to figure it out. You had to memorize it. And Common Core shifts the way memorization for mathematics skills works. And by the way, they've now rebranded Common Core math. In some schools, they call it Singapore math. Because you see, the kids in Singapore are smart. It's a variation of Common Core. And there are a number of schools that use it, and it's called Singapore math. And the idea, the academics, some of whom will big defenders, we'll get defenders of Singapore and Common Core math on this program. We've got to learn this new way, and some kids learn different. We have to teach. Essentially, they're teaching you every variety of way to do a math problem. And by the way, one of the things that's happened, is kids are having a harder time doing word problems. Since we got rid of basic math and we moved to Common Core math, there's been a decline in comprehension of word-based math problems, which Common Core was actually supposed to solve, but made it worse. And so now they call it Singapore math. Because, those kids in Singapore, they sure are smart. Let's do it the way they do it. And it's not working. Scores have gotten worse. Academia, they think they got to reinvent the wheel every time. And guess what? In Mississippi and Louisiana and Tennessee, Alabama, the reason literacy scores are going up so high is because they've abandoned reinventing the wheel, and they went back to what worked at first. The way we taught literacy in the early 1900s was phonics-based. The word sounds. Put the word sounds together, you'll learn the word, as opposed to the whole word and sentence structure reading that took off in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and collapsed literacy rates in the country. Phonics actually does work. And there are teachers who are very adamant that phonics is a terrible way to learn, that you should use the sight word method, and those people should frankly be driven out of education. Because the data shows it doesn't work as well as phonics, but they're dogmatic. It's like the people who embrace Common Core and then had to rebrand it Singapore math. And a lot of schools, they got rid of calling it Common Core, and they decided to do common proficiency and nonsensical new labels because parents realized Common Core sucks. and it's dragged down education across the country. And what it has done, one of the primary motivations of Common Core was so that you could be a good worker bee for the Fortune 500. And it's not a coincidence that as this has happened, as schools embrace Common Core, which Bill Gates and others helped develop, because they thought a kid in California, if they moved to Georgia, should kind of be on the same page and taught the same way. What's actually happened now is that there's no room in the Fortune 500 for your kids. And your kids have now lost the entrepreneurial ambition and spirit because Common Core was designed to suck up the entrepreneurial spirit. Common Core was designed, in fact, to make your kids stop thinking outside the box and do things certain ways and then detach your kid from you. How many of you parents in Common Core states can help your kid with math? Virtually none. And that's not actually me. That's data-based. There's actually been research on this that parents in Common Core states can't help their kids with math, because the parents don't know how to do it. They haven't been trained in doing it. And we have this collapse in math in the country as the Fortune 500 and the chambers of commerce and the like got together and let's come up with Common Core. They rolled it out across the country. States across the country have embraced it. And now you can't help your child with math. Your child is dependent on who? On who? The state. The teacher. You know, our kids were in a private school that did Common Core math. It was actually our church's school. I think they still do Common Core math. They moved to a different private classical education school, and the Christian classical education school uses old school math. My son is accelerated up to pre-calc. My daughter did AP calculus, ran circles around the kids in the other private school that were doing the Common Core stuff. And by the way, I'm no math whiz. I'm great at geometry and trigonometry. But when he gets into calc and stuff, nope, that was my wife. And she could help the kids. She wasn't able to help our kid in third grade do math. But when our kids moved to an old school math system, she's able to help our kids with math again. The parents were able to involve themselves in their kids' homework. There's a lady online. I want you to read this. This is another part of the problem with education right now. I have a student in an Algebra 2 class who is failing. Her grade is a 12. The student is frequently absent and does not turn in work when they're present. I asked the student why they don't attempt any of the assignments. The student said, I know how this works. They'll put me in credit recovery. I'll finish the whole course in a couple of weeks and can guess my way through everything because it's all multiple choice with unlimited attempts. The teacher in there's chill. He's on his phone. He doesn't care if we're on our phone. The student is going to graduate from high school with a transcript showing passing grades in Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. Does the student understand any of the material? Absolutely not. Course and grade recovery programs should not be an option. And it is, particularly in a lot of blue states and in a lot of urban areas in red states, credit and grade recovery programs have become the default. And so now you have situations like the University of California, San Diego saying that virtually every child who comes in, because they got rid of testing standards, because they wanted a more diverse student population, and virtually every kid who comes into that school program at the University of California, San Diego now has to go through a remedial math program to catch up because they can't do basic math. States that don't have strong teachers unions have better education outcomes. Think about that. See, the teachers' unions are advocates for the teachers, not the students. The students are failing, and the teachers' unions are like, well, we can't improve them because that would mean more work for the teachers. In southern states where teachers' unions are not strong, you've got better education outcomes. In literacy, math scores are actually rising in the South, even as they still have these terrible Common Core programs. Some schools are moving back to traditional math. We want to be competitive in the world. You know, the president the other day, he did it again yesterday. He stepped in it. He defended H-1B visa programs again, claimed H-1B visa programs are part of MAGA. A lot of his supporters were very outraged about what the president said. But to a degree, the president has a point that we don't have a proficiency of training in this country because kids are coming out of high schools and they are failing math, and yet they pass math enough to be able to get by. And so the president, to a degree, is actually right when he says something like this.
To bring people to get those plants opened, we want you to do that, and we want those people to teach our people how to make computer chips and how to make other things. You can't come in, and I'm explaining, you can't come in, open up a massive computer chip factory for billions and billions of dollars like is being done in Arizona and think you're going to hire people off an unemployment line to run it. They're going to have to bring thousands of people with them, and I'm going to welcome those people. Now, I love my conservative friends. I love MAGA, but this is MAGA. And those people are going to teach our people how to make computer chips, and in a short period of time, our people are going to be doing great, and those people can go home where they probably always want to be, you know?
He's not wrong, but will his supporters embrace this message? We do have to have people to train us, but right now, we got teachers claiming Singapore math isn't Common Core when it actually is, and the results speak for themselves. Our kids are falling further and further behind, and the acceleration of kids falling behind in math came with Common Core when their parents could no longer help them with math scores, and yet the education establishment of this country has doubled down on it, and the results now speak for themselves. Our country is falling further behind.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Day Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still watching that crash over in Cobb County, right next to Six Flags over Georgia. Had been in the left lane. Right now they're holding the right lane as the crash has gotten moved off to the right. 20 eastbound past Riverside Parkway. Delays in DeKalb with that left lane construction. 20 eastbound at Panola Road. And I-75 southbound in Henry County still seeing some delays from Highway 138 passing Hudson Bridge. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $60 million. Now with bigger jackpots, better odds, and a built-in multiplier. Drawings every Tuesday and Friday. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
WSB is your home of the Dogs.
Back to pass. Stockton out of the shotgun.
This week, number 4 Georgia welcomes Charlotte to Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium.
Slings it. Caught. Touchdown number 2.
Pregame begins at 8:45 tomorrow morning.
In the right corner, just beyond the front right pylon.
Only on your home of the Dogs, 95.5 WSB.
In your face again, says Noah Thomas.
Brought to you in part by Hoffman Financial Group, official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
It's the Love Your Home Minute from TE Certified. Hi, it's Chris Chandler with Josh, the local owner of TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know him. That's him you see jumping out of the back of their trucks. Josh, tell me something you've done recently to help you love your home.
Our whole house water filtration system. Before we got our whole house filter, our water kind of tasted like chlorine, kind of had an odd smell to it. Ever since we put the whole house filter in, now our water smells perfect, it tastes great, and it cleans every single faucet in our house. So at our toilet, at our sink, at our shower, we have clean water.
That's the kind of thing that's good for the whole family.
Absolutely. So this is our kids, myself, washing water, our cleaning water, our cooking water, and of course, even the dog gets clean water now. It took less than a day for the team to install the 2 new filters for the house, and now every single faucet my family uses has filtered water.
Josh, thank you. I believe a water filtration system from TE will help a lot of our listeners love their home more.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
I want you to know that you are loved. You are loved personally and completely, more fully and deeply than you can understand or imagine. When your pain tries to tell you that you're not loved, let his pain remind you that you are. Jesus went through what he went through for you. because He loves you. You are loved. This is Tom Gray, thanking Hardy Family Ford for their support.
We love you and we need you.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. It is an open line Friday, 877-973-7425. Thank you again. If you didn't hear yesterday, we raised $265,000 to feed families across the nation for Thanksgiving. That's going to feed over 6,625 families this holiday season, and that was all you guys. Thank you very, very, very much for your help nationwide feeding families. If you text ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, and you click the very first link, that goes to my daily email. And this morning's email was my annual recipe list that includes the Thanksgiving gravy. My gravy is very, very easy. Let me just spend one quick moment with you on gravy. If you do a flour-based gravy like I do, you have to use fat. You have to heat fat, preferably butter for flavor. And then you add the flour to the butter. Here's why. The flour will absorb the oil, and then it won't clump up. If you have clumpy gravy, it's because you're putting your non-fat liquid into the flour before the flour has time to absorb the fat. So you got to do the flour into the butter for a minute or two, let it get absorb the butter fat, and then you can add in your stock, and you're not going to have lumpy gravy. It's a very easy recipe. You can get them all. Just text ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Click the very first link. Now, let me tell you about Americans for Prosperity. Around the country, they are firing up conservatives to get involved and advance common sense conservative reforms. They've got chapters in every state. I'm on their board of advisors. Here's what they do. They find grassroots activists who want to get involved or just stay informed. They give you all the information about public policy coming to your local government, your state government, Congress. They provide you ways to reach out to your city councilman, your school board member, your state legislator, or your congressman or senator to advocate those policies. And also, they teach you how to relate to your friends who are curious so that they know you're a trusted person with the right information. All you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com and sign up to become a highly effective activist around the country. afpvolunteer.com. Get involved with American for Prosperity. Advance common sense conservative solutions for families and businesses. afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with them today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Happening right now, sentencing underway for the man found guilty in the shooting deaths of Amber and Justin Hicks. Their 2-year-old son, Jacob, was discovered alone the next morning wearing pajamas soaked with his parents' blood. Michael Lands found guilty on all 13 counts, including murder, home invasion, cruelty to children. Victim impact statements are being heard now before his punishment is announced. Lance, by the way, is not in the courtroom. Judge Sonia Brown says he waived his right to be present at sentencing.
And there is no authority that allows the court to require them because it is the defendant's right at that point.
Now, once he is sentenced, we will let you know what he gets. All right, your weather for today. Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz says showers move in later in the day and overnight. Afternoon highs around 77. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A man facing charges after getting into a car accident, then leaving his critically injured passenger at the scene without calling for help. Duluth police have arrested 20-year-old Samuel Garcia after the crash at the intersection of Buford and Duluth highways. He reportedly hit a utility pole, ejecting the passenger. Nearby cameras capture the man leaving the scene on foot without calling 911. As holiday travel season gets underway, starting today, it looks like more people are taking the train. Michael Wallace says Amtrak expected to break records this Thanksgiving.
The railroad says 1.2 million holiday travelers will use its service. Loyola University student Topher Royce is headed home on Amtrak after he had a bad airline experience a few weeks ago.
It was a mess, a lot of delays, so I think Amtrak's definitely the way to go.
2025 has been a banner year for Amtrak. It just closed its fiscal year with record ridership and record revenue. Amtrak still doesn't make money, but its operating loss of $600 million was a 15% improvement from a year ago.
All right, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is currently up more than 1.5%. NASDAQ and S&P are also up more than a full percent. It's 12:32.
If you need a furnace, think of Reliable with unbeatable lifetime warranty and only $59.99 a month. It's getting cold out there. Don't be a turkey this Thanksgiving. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Reliable Heating Air wants to keep you warm and feed you too with free Turkey Tuesday. Every Tuesday leading up to Thanksgiving, listen to my show for your chance to win a free Thanksgiving turkey courtesy of Reliable Heating and Air, the name Atlanta trusts when it's time to turn on the heat. Stay cozy, save energy, and keep your oven and your furnace cooking this holiday season. Visit ReliableAir.com to schedule your furnace check today.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. When you buy an engagement ring or fine jewelry gift from Shane Company, you get more than what you paid for. Our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. It covers everything. There's no fine print. You'll get unlimited cleanings, resizings, and repairs. Plus, it even protects your engagement ring's center stone. We stand behind the quality of our jewelry, and that's our gift to you this holiday. Peace of mind. Because a friend knows the best things in life are free. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
2 homes, same block, one sold for way more because they used Orchard. Move first, skip the stress, and sell for top dollar. Don't wait. Get your free home valuation now at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
'Tis the season. Have you gotten your flu shot? At All Care, our experienced flu specialists are dedicated to providing comprehensive and personalized care, from vaccines to testing to treatment. And you can walk right in to any of All Care's 15 Atlanta locations and access our unique combination of primary and immediate care under a single roof. For flu season and beyond, say goodbye to waiting for the doctor and say hello to All Care, a proud member of the Piedmont Clinically Integrated Network.
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps. This season at Kroger, make the moments that matter possible with quality that's affordable in every aisle. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Grade A frozen Butterball whole turkeys are 99 cents a pound with your card and additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Findlay Roofing, the Roof guys, are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Time to replace your roof? Please think of Findlay first. FindlayRoofing.com.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Hey, Sabrina, got double trouble on the East Freeway. Crash in the center lane, 20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. You'll stay slow from there out to the left lane. Construction at Panola Road. On the West Freeway, that crash completely cleared in Cobb County, 20 eastbound past Riverside Parkway, exit number 46. So the brake lights out of Lithia Springs are starting to get better. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Mostly cloudy, showers, and even a few thunderstorms moving in late. Our better chances rain comes in this evening and continues overnight. Today's high 77, tomorrow morning's low 64. We'll have some showers through the morning on Saturday, gradual clearing in the afternoon tomorrow, high 76. Mostly sunny Sunday, low 52, high 71.
All right, we have 76 degrees right now on Peachtree Street. We'll have more news at 1 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Truth over tribe. Conviction over party. Eric Erickson. Conservative, but not captive.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome across the fruited plain. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Yes, I will be working part of next week. I got a lot of cooking to do as well. But I also want you to know that I will be around, and as always, if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Even when I'm around on social media. You should follow me on Instagram anyway. I put a lot of cooking pictures up. I'm going to be smoking the turkeys for the family. I've got sweet potato pies to make, and I've got the gravy. I always make the gravy. You can get those recipes as well, the same ones I'm making. You can get them if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. I want to go to Vicki on the phones. Welcome to the show, Vicki. How are you?
I am well. I am calling you about the H-1B comment and conversation the country is having.
Sure.
I agree with what Trump's saying, and I think most of us in this country recognize that when you have a relatively new technology or labor, you need to have people who have experience to teach people. I think what the problem is, because I have this in my life experience, this is not just my opinion. We have a lot of H-1Bs in the technical field, which both my brother-in-law and my husband were laid off because of so many H-1Bs in their industries. And the issue is we have so many H-1Bs here, and our government hasn't governed it properly, have limitations of how many can come in, how long they can be here. And these companies are just really taking advantage of that to raise their profit line, which, that's all about the money. But then I personally experienced hardship because of our government's policy on H-1Bs. And I feel like I represent a lot of people that's the issue with H-1B being here. It's not the new industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, there is such a problem, Vicki, with I really do think H-1B visa program has become the program by which high-tech companies in particular just hire cheaper workers. That not more skilled, not more proficient. They're just offloading. I can't tell you the number of Americans I know who lost jobs and found out later who they were replaced with, and it tended to be a worker on an H-1B visa who didn't make as much money and save the company. That's just we've got real visa programs that can bring in highly technical workers. Somebody was telling me I think it's the O program. Now you should know as well. I tried to do immigration law, and I was an abject failure at a lot of immigration law. There's some of it I could do, but it's a very complex system, which of course the complexity breeds corruption as well. In and of itself, there are so many opportunities for us to value American workers, but there are cases too. In fairness, there are cases where the president is right that there are some jobs where we have outsourced all the labor abroad, and we've lost the skill sets, and we need people to come back here and train. And there is a very specific one I know about: nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactors. For those of you in Texas, nuclear reactors. For the rest of us, nuclear reactors. There's a nuclear power plant here in Georgia called Plant Vogtle, built by Georgia Power. And it had massive cost overruns. The reason it had massive cost overruns, and to the credit of the state of Georgia and the Public Service Commission here, they pursued the program even with the cost overruns. Our nuclear engineering base had all retired or died. We haven't built a new nuclear power plant in this country in more than a generation. And we lost that skill set. We had to bring people in from abroad on H-1B visas and other visa programs to help reteach American engineers how to build nuclear reactors because we had lost the knowledge. And it's a real problem in some industries, and nuclear is a great example of this. We've got the knowledge back now. And by the way, most of the engineers, including a lot of Japanese engineers, have gone home. Nuclear is a prime example for what the president is talking about, that we gotta, there are some. Look, I think the president is a little bit tone deaf on how he's been talking about the H-1B visa program. But the nuclear program in this country is a prime example of what he's talking about. And I wish someone would show the president this, because I agree with him on this. And he thinks I think he thinks I disagree with him way more than I do. I got disagreements on tariffs, but on much of what he's doing, I agree. This is one of those examples here. Our nuclear reactor program in this country, the last one we built was generations ago. And so when you wanted to build, there was a South Carolina and a Georgia project. The South Carolina one, Westinghouse went bankrupt. The project collapsed. In Georgia, they stuck with it. We had to import highly technical labor from abroad, a lot of it from Japan and some from Europe, to reteach American engineers how to build nuclear power plants. Those people have gone home now. But they had to come here and reteach us how to build nuclear power plants because it's been so long since we built one. The engineers who had built the old nuclear power plants either retired or died, had Alzheimer's. They were old. They were old. But now we've got that technical expertise back. We should be able to deploy it and start building more nuclear power plants. But we could not have done it except by doing exactly what the president is talking about right now, which is occasionally you have to bring in. And it's not a lack of talent. It's a lack of training. And if I could encourage the president to talk about that, Americans are talented. They can get off the unemployment line, and they're talented people. But there are some sectors of the economy where you need training for that talent. And if he would talk about it that way, I think people would understand it a little better, because then the nuclear power plants are a great example of this, where we've got very talented American engineers. They just needed to be trained on how to build a nuclear power plant because there were no Americans around anymore who really remembered how to do it because it had been so long. But now the talented Americans took the training and can build nuclear power plants. That's exactly what's going on here. And that's why I hope the president refines his message a little more and makes it not about we don't have any talent. It's that we need the training for the talented Americans. And he can use nuclear power as a good example of this. And now look what's happening. We've got nuclear power plant projects cropping up around the country, all because in Georgia, Georgia Power invested in, with the help of the state, a nuclear power program. They built a nuclear power plant in the state of Georgia, the first one we built in this country in generations. And the nuclear engineers, they're very talented, and now they're trained. And so now they can go out, and all the foreign engineers who came over and helped them on H-1B visas, they've gone home now. It's a great way for us to do it. And in that regard, the president is right. And I think his base that's a little bit defensive on this message, if he talks about it in that way, I think that he will be able to make it. Because here's the practical reality. The left in this country, particularly in the energy sector, wiped out our capacity to learn these skill sets. And a lot of Fortune 500 companies also shoved out the talented skill set and shifted them overseas, and we lost the training here at home. We got the talent, we just need the training. You put the training from abroad with the talent at home, we're going to have the most industrious, resourceful base of talented Americans able to keep this country running, and we won't be dependent on the Chinese. We won't be dependent on people from around the world, and I think that's what the president is getting at. I just think he needs to talk about it with some of those examples to make people understand what he actually means. It's not that we don't have talented Americans on an unemployment line. It's that we have very talented Americans who can't find jobs. And if we give them the right training, they will find the jobs and their talent will be unleashed. Now, back to the phones. John, you're going to be up next. Welcome.
Hey, Eric. How you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to make the point, whatever Trump said about, the chip building and chip manufacturing, that, you need to bring all these people in here to the United States to do it. It's just not right. He's totally wrong, and that's what bothers me the most about Trump is he just runs his mouth too much. It's its biggest enemy. The fact of the matter is chip manufacturing, they're foundries. That's what they're called, where they're made. There are some here still remaining here in the United States, and the reason that all of that manufacturing, for the majority of it, is done overseas, is primarily because the processes used to build chips, where they build silicon boules and they slice them up and do all the photolithography to them. There's a lot of etching, a lot of organic chemicals, solvents, things like that are used in the process. If you do this type of work here in the U.S., you're going to have to pay companies like Safe Harbors and others to go in and get that waste and treat it to get rid of it. Over in Asia, they just dump it. They don't have near the cost to work with all of the extra chemicals that are used. You got heavy metals, like I said, you got organic solvents, and these are things that if they bring here to the States, they can make them just the same with the local talent pool that's here in the U.S. It's just it costs more because you have to deal with all of the waste that comes from that.
Now, John, what I hear you saying is that in China they're able to pollute their rivers and we're not allowed to pollute our rivers here, and that's one of the costs.
You better believe it.
Yes,
I was in Taiwan one time. Literally, most of the manufacturing facilities, not just chip manufacturing, but electronics in general. I have a pretty long background in that. There are canals out in the front of the plants where most of these effluents are just dumped there, and they're treated on a very sparse basis, if you don't mind. They just don't have the controls here in the States. There's nothing to worry about environmentally here in the States if you do the right things, and that's to treat the waste. There are plenty of companies that do that for a living. It can be safely done, but it's just an added cost, a significant cost, mind you, that for a plant that size that builds semiconductors, they got to pay for it. They don't have to pay for it over there, and then when they do it here, it just becomes more expensive. It's done to save costs, plain and simple, not because there's a lack of talent, but to save costs. Every major manufacturer, Intel, AMD, and others, they all have a foundry here in the U.S.
Right.
Whether it be Oregon, whether it be Austin, whether it be Phoenix, it doesn't matter. They have their foundries, but for the actual manufacturing, no, you do it overseas because you don't have to deal with all that waste, safety engineers, treatment, shipping the stuff off, all that stuff. That's why they do it.
So, what I'm also hearing here is think of all of these superhero origin stories we have been deprived as a nation by people being unable to fall into the toxic waste and come out with superpowers.
Yes,
I'm sorry. My brain should not go in directions like that, but it really does.
Yes, I know.
But listen, man,
anyway.
it's a great point. It really is. And the president, I think, does have to balance this because, like, the nuclear power one is probably the best example on planet Earth for bringing trained people in to retrain our engineers on how to do this. But on the chip foundries, you're 1,000% right. In fact, I got a buddy of mine who actually works for one of the companies you named who is texting me, telling me to tell you amen on that. Because that is the problem. And in fact, he is texting me that we're probably never going to see a mass amount of chips come from these foundries that are being built in Arizona, and that once the president is out of the way, you will find that they get closed down.
Yeah. Trump just needs to shut his mouth. That's his worst enemy. That sets him back. Every foot or two he takes forward, he takes one or two or three back. With the way he runs his mouth, and it just is aggravating.
Well, so listen, I appreciate very much, and happy Thanksgiving to you. Your comments here, and again, a buddy of mine who actually works for one of the companies John named makes the same point that it's the regulatory costs in this country that make it more expensive. The labor costs and regulatory costs, we can make those things here. It's just we don't because of the environmental regulations, labor laws, and things like that. But again, I recorded, and I need to get in the hands of some of the people at the White House what I talked about with nuclear power, because that is exactly, I think, the point the president is gravitating towards is nuclear power is the best example in this country. But we do lack knowledge in some areas because we outsource so much overseas, or we abandon things we're trying to pick back up. And to John's point again, this friend of mine who's texting says, don't forget pharmaceuticals. that is another reason so many pharmaceuticals are made abroad, so we don't have to deal with the environmental cleanup and regulatory costs of that here. There are reasons. It's more expensive to produce things in this country. We have a higher standard of living and expect more from companies when it comes to environmental compliance, and that drives up costs that you don't have to worry about in the slave pits of China.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Got a crash downtown. They're holding the right side of the roadway right now to get it out of the center lane. 7585 northbound, Peachtree, Pine Street, exit 249B. That's why you're seeing extra brake lights back toward University Avenue. Been busy in DeKalb County. Right lane crash, 20 eastbound at Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. And then left lane construction past that at Panola Road. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola. Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola have partnered to give you the best of both worlds, all under one special deal. Get your combo tickets at AtlantaIcons.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
all
app.
the notifications you need.
If you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Y'all, it's Eric. You know I love to sit in my hot tub in the backyard and watch the stars. It's relaxing. And right now, the Georgia Spa Company is having its pre-Black Friday sale. You can shop early for the best selection, save up to 30% off hot tubs, saunas, swim spas, and those cold plunges that are all the rage these days on the socials. 9 locations across Georgia. There's a Georgia Spa Company near you. Don't wait. The deals aren't going to last. Visit GeorgiaSpaCompany.com today.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hey, contractors, builders, you guys are busy. Do you have time to hang out at the lumber hut waiting for someone in an apron to wander over and ask if they can help you? I didn't think so. You need Randall Brothers. Dave Baker here. Randall Brothers has the widest variety of quality building materials, plus they have the experts on site that understand what you want and will get you the supplies you need and on your way. And Randall Brothers provides excellent customer service, actually has for over 140 years. Big enough to stock it all, local enough to care. See them on the web at randallbrothers.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. Get Eric's daily show prep email.
Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. Open Line Friday, 877-973-7425. I was going to do a big monologue on this. I decided I'd rather take your phone calls because I can keep this very short. Democrats and the press corps are furious with Donald Trump, suggesting these idiot Democratic members of Congress who put out that video encouraging the military and intelligence community to ignore the president's orders, that they should be charged with sedition and executed. The White House has clarified now the president doesn't actually want them executed. You do something outrageous on the left, you get Donald Trump's attention, he does something outrageous, you and the press together fan the flames of outrage, and then you fundraise off of it. The president fell for their trap this time. Donald Trump fell for their trap. No, he should not have suggested that. And here, you know the result. For those of you who think, it's no big deal, you are now paying for these people's security because of what Donald Trump did. On the other hand, I would just like to note that many of the people massively outraged about the president's mean tweet were willing to find any excuse in the book to absolve Jay Jones of saying he wanted to murder a man and his children in Virginia. And he ultimately, Democrats in Virginia, got that man across the finish line, Jay Jones. He's now the Attorney General-elect in Virginia, and he wanted to murder a man and his children. And they were all making excuses for him, refusing to denounce him, and yet they expect all of us to denounce Donald Trump now. I'm willing to say Donald Trump bad, but I was also willing to say Jay Jones bad. And I would just note that none of those Democrats, not a single one, would condemn Jay Jones. In fact, you had people like Tim Kaine and Mark Warner and others from Virginia make excuses for Jay Jones, and they're now condemning the president of the United States. No, the president shouldn't have done it. I resent that my taxpayer dollars now have to pay for security for these people because the president stirred up the crazies against them. But you Democrats can really sit this one out because you all gave a pass to Jay Jones in Virginia, who wanted to murder a person, murder a man, and kill his children for the outrage of that man saying something nice about a fellow Democrat. So just please, let's stop the outrage games. You're doing it as a fundraiser. You knew you would trigger him and you could fundraise off of it. That's what's actually going on here. And you know and I know, if any member of the military does what you say they should do, you will not lift a finger to help that person. But you probably inspired progressive crazies in the military to do it so they can then run for Congress. Hillsdale College would love to have you take one of their classes. They're a great group, and they will educate you, not indoctrinate you, on the founding of the country, on capitalism, on mathematics, on C.S. Lewis, on Shakespeare, on the history of the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. They've got massive numbers of classes to choose from, 40 of them. You do at your own pace. Each class consists of a professor guiding you through the topic in 30-minute increments. Depends on the topic, depends on how many increments. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College, get engaged in the process with Hillsdale. They'll make you smarter. They won't indoctrinate you. They'll educate you. ericforhillsdale.com. There's no charge for this. You get a certificate of completion, and you build a relationship with Hillsdale, one of the great academic institutions of the United States. ericforhillsdale.com.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look, it's beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. In an unusual move, the convicted murderer is not in the courtroom for his sentencing today in Cobb County. Matthew Lands opting to skip his sentencing for the murders of Amber and Justin Hicks. And WSB's Veronica Waters has been covering this, and she joins us live now. Veronica?
Yeah, Sabrina, a stunning development from the defendant who would only say no comment when asked by his trial judge if he understood his rights. Today, another first by double murderer Matthew Lands. He sent the judge a signed statement saying he would not be in court.
And I voluntarily and knowingly do hereby waive and give up the right to be present at my sentencing hearing today.
Cobb County Superior Court Judge Sonia Brown says the law does not allow her to make him come. Tear-filled loved ones of Amber and Justin Hicks called Lands cowardly for not being here and pleaded with the judge to sentence him to life without parole.
Justice is what this defendant deserves, and I firmly believe that Mr. Lance is a representative of pure evil.
Defense attorney Jimmy Berry asked the judge to consider any measure of mitigation that she can. He says he knows it's hard in this case, but we never did know the motive. We don't know the why, and so he asks that she find some measure of mercy for him. The judge is now off the bench considering her sentence. Reporting live, Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
All right, thank you, Ronnie. So your weather for today, according to Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz, showers moving in later on this evening and tonight. Afternoon highs around 77. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Well, the holiday travel period's kicking into full gear, and this year there's a new trend. Travel editor Peter Greenberg says more people are actually driving to their final destinations.
During the shutdown of the government, a lot of travelers decided to postpone or delay their air trips. And about 26% of them said instead they're going to go on the road.
He says the worst day for travel is not the Wednesday before Thanksgiving like you might think, but it's the Sunday after. So if you're looking to avoid long lines and delays, he suggests heading home next Friday. And Amtrak also is busy. They're expecting to break records this Thanksgiving. The railroad saying 1.2 million holiday travelers will use its services. 2025 has been a banner year for Amtrak. It just finished its fiscal year with record ridership and record revenue. MARTA getting into the holiday spirit with a chance to win free rides, starting with some holiday-themed buses.
They're called Wrapping Up the Year designs. 3 MARTA buses will be rolling through the streets of DeKalb and Clayton counties along with the city of Atlanta from now through New Year's Eve, giving free rides to anyone who boards them. The agency will be handing out free Breeze cards during the first week of December at surprise events around the system, and it'll hold a customer appreciation event December 11th at the Kensington station featuring holiday music and events. MARTA interim CEO Jonathan Hunt says it's all meant to spread cheer across the system. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Let's check your money. The Dow right now is up 654, so the Dow's up almost 1.5%. NASDAQ's up almost a full percent. The S&P is up more than a full percent. It's 102.
Normally, they put a roof over your head, but this is the time of year that Findlay Roofing also puts presents under trees. Merry Christmas! It's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show. My friends at Findlay Roofing, the Roof guys, are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate $100 from every roof replacement between now and December 14th. Findlay has committed to donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Santa would be proud, and Rufus is proud too. And if it's time to replace your roof, please think of Findlay first. With over 65,000 roofs replaced locally, they've mastered the process with impeccable, high-quality work. 'Tis the season to give yourself the gift of a new roof while helping give a Merry Christmas to local foster children. Get started right now. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate and get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Hey, Sabrina. Some heavy police activity. Traffic troopers told me about it. I see it on the jam cam. Georgia 400 northbound before Mansell Road, exit number 8. They're blocking multiple right lanes. You're already seeing the brake lights starting before Holcomb Bridge. You can use Highway 9 as an alternate. Heading into the heart of the city, 85 southbound stacking up right around Georgia 400 with 75-85 northbound delays in place from Highway 166 Langford Parkway, getting your way up past Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. We're headed towards 77 this afternoon. They'll tie the record high with a mostly cloudy sky. Showers increasing late afternoon, especially this evening and into the night, even a few thunderstorms overnight. Down to 64 Saturday morning with some showers, then clearing gradually through the afternoon. Saturday's high 76. Mostly sunny on Sunday, low 52, high 71.
We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very, very, very happy to have you. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you get the links to everything social media-wise, the podcast, the 4 Things to Know this afternoon, and the very top link is to the daily email where you can find all the recipes for Thanksgiving. The very first link. I pushed it out this morning. You should be a subscriber anyway. But great recipes, including the gravy recipe. But before I move on, I want to take a phone call on Trump's on his statements about the Democrats. In particular, it was his mean tweet about these people that actually the White House literally, hang on a second, let me read to you the headline reply was in fact that yes, in all caps from Newswire, Trump does not want to execute members of Congress, White House says. All right. Mark, I'm going to go to you. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you, sir?
Good. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to call in, and there's been all this conversation about how irresponsible and seditious it was for Congress members to make a statement that is patently true, absolutely true. And in fact, I would like to ask you a question. What would happen if the actions going on in Venezuela or off the coast of Venezuela or the National Guard deployments in urban cities, if those were found to be illegal, who's going to be culpable for that? The president or the people that carried out the actions on the ground?
Oh, the people who carried out the actions on the ground will be responsible for it.
Exactly. And that's what the Congress members were talking about and to. The Nuremberg defense is not going to work for soldiers. I've known many soldiers over my time. I come from a military family, and I know many young soldiers. They don't know the law. They don't understand the larger systems in play. They believe that the president is absolutely in charge, and that is a dangerous situation when you consider the illegal culpability they're being placed in.
So, Mark, where's the legal defense fund that these members of Congress have set up for these guys?
I don't know about that. I don't see how that pertains to what we're talking about.
No. It's directly related. You just said these guys don't know what's legal or illegal. They're going to follow the president. These people are telling them don't follow illegal orders. And they're not setting up a relief fund for any of these guys if they get it wrong. They're not setting up a
Well,
relief
that's
fund
down
to
the
help them
line.
get out of
There's been
jail.
nobody's charged. Why do you need a legal defense fund if there have been no charges filed? That's something that can be accomplished.
Wait just a minute.
You're
It's my show, not your show,
sidetracking
Mark.
the conversation.
I'm
You're
trying to
propagandist.
get
It
you
is
to
your
answer a
show.
question, Mark, that you don't want to seem to answer.
It doesn't pertain. It's not germane. It's a sidetrack.
No, it's not, because you just said
It
that
is.
hasn't come yet, but you started the conversation by saying they're acknowledging there's been no illegal order. So wait,
I did not acknowledge that. I believe that it's illegal to execute people for crimes that don't hold a capital offense, and to claim that they're a military organization, it's false on its face. And
wait
you
a
are carrying
second.
water.
Wait, now see, you shifted
You're
the
carrying
goalposts
water.
again. No,
I'm
you're
not.
trying to defend the Democrats, which is fine. But you
They
started
use
by
the
saying
First
what
Amendment right
happens
to talk
if
about the actual
see,
law.
and now you can't even let me get into word in edgewise on my own show, Mark. This is starting to get annoying.
Go ahead.
My point was, you started by saying what happens if the president gives illegal orders. You didn't say any of them were illegal, but now you believe they were illegal. But
I do
because
believe
it's
that
a foreign
those
policy
two
issue,
issues, I believe
are you a lawyer by chance?
I am not.
Okay, I am. And I can tell you, in foreign policy, there are actually copious Supreme Court precedents that if the president declares an organization narco-terrorists and decides to blow them out of the water, it is a legal order. And Congress may not like it, but until Congress goes back in and actually decides that the president doesn't have that power, the president gets that power. So you can call in and you can mouth off in defense of the Democrats, and that's fine. But your original premise was that what if he gives an illegal order? And when I said, where's the legal fund they're setting up, you're like, that's not relevant, that's not germane, because that hasn't happened. And when I pointed out your premise was that he hasn't given an illegal order, you're like, no, I actually think it is illegal. Except you admitted you're not a lawyer, and I am, and I can tell you it's not illegal, and yet here you come mouthing off on my show about something I actually happen to know about. If you want to defend the Democrats, that's totally fine. I don't mind you guys, Mark, defending the Democrats. I think what they did was dumb because, as you yourself pointed out, Mark, none of these guys know whether it's going to be a legal order or an illegal order, but the Democrats aren't putting anything in place to protect them. You say, oh, that's in the future. That could happen. No. You want the legal fund in place now because you want the lawyers ready to go if they do it. Because the Democrats are encouraging them to defy the President of the United States. They're encouraging them to defy the president. So where is the legal fund ready to go for when they do what the Democrats say? You think it's not relevant? It's highly relevant right now. You got to have the lawyers in place. No, what they did was performance. And you're one of the people they played to. You were inspired and encouraged by the Democrats because you don't like Donald Trump and you're convinced he's been issuing illegal orders. We established you think that, but also that you're not a lawyer and you're out of your depth on whether it's a legal question or not, because the Supreme Court has decided repeatedly the president has distinct and plenary powers when it comes to being commander-in-chief and foreign policy combined. And when you weave those two powers together, there's really nothing the Congress can do in present law. They have to pass new laws, which they have not done and will not do because the Republicans have blocked them. So the point of this, Mark, is that you can be emotionally enraged by what the president is doing and love that the Democrats are defending him, but you also don't know what the hell you're talking about when it actually comes to the application of the law. You feel good coming on and mouthing off and getting on my show and trying to dominate the airtime and not let me get a word in edgewise. Good for you, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is my button and I have the kill switch to shut you up so I can make the point that you don't actually know what you're talking about. And you don't. And had you been a regular listener, Mark, you would have heard that I actually do think that there are questions about the intelligence in the Caribbean. There actually are. And I don't think that Pete Hegseth actually has the wherewithal to navigate that issue. And Pete Hegseth, at the end of the day, not the president of the United States, but Pete Hegseth will be one of the fall guys if things go south on this. And Hegseth will, if there's criminality there, he would be the one carted off to jail, short of the president pardoning him, which would probably happen. But for the Democrats to do this, it's all performance-based. It got you worked up. It's got progressives cheering them, and they're all now, every one of them, sending out fundraising letters. Look at what we did. look at what we're doing. And not a single one of those fundraising letters has money that will go to help any soldier. Now, here's what's actually going to happen is a progressive, probably going to be the Air Force, let's just be honest. A progressive is going to decide, I'm going to defy the president's order, and I wish to be the martyr. And that person is going to get court-martialed, either thrown out of the military, dishonorably discharged, or thrown in jail, and will wear that as a badge of honor to run for Congress as a Democrat. I stood up to Donald Trump's illegal orders, and a guy like Mark is going to send that guy a check because that person defied the president, even though in the court-martial it'll be determined what the president said was perfectly legal. Doesn't matter. That guy defied the president. And that guy will become a member of Congress in a far-left district and a hero to guys like Mark for having stood up to the president, even though the court will say what the president did was perfectly legal. And in the process of that person doing that, none of these Democrats are going to help the person. Let's be real clear here, too, that what these Democrats are really doing is they're targeting the officer corps, not the enlisted. They want the officers to stand up to Donald Trump. They're essentially trying to get a coup out of this. The Democrats have been trying to get their own coup. They think Donald Trump tried to commit a coup on January 6th, and now they want their own coup. They want the military. For years, I mean, we literally have had Democrats. I played audio on this program from MSNBC on how we expect the military to stand up to Donald Trump and how disappointed they are over and over and over again that the military hasn't stood up to Donald Trump. The Democrats have openly called for a coup. And now you got Democrat members of Congress calling for them to defy the president. What do you think was the genesis of this behind the scenes? I think I know what the genesis of this is. I don't think it's the streets of Chicago. I don't think it's the National Guard in Los Angeles or Washington, D.C. I think it's the blowing up of the ships in the Caribbean and the Pacific. I think that's what this is about. Democratic members of Congress on the side of the narco-terrorists. They're on the side of the narco-terrorists. That's what this is about. They're for they, thems, and the narco-terrorists. Donald Trump's for you. And these Democratic members of Congress want the American military to side with the narco-terrorists. And you see what's coming next is this plan to destabilize Venezuela. Because you know what the ultimate target is in destabilizing Venezuela? It's to destabilize Cuba. Venezuela is the last major lifeline for the communist regime in Cuba. Even the Chinese have cut back their aid on Cuba as they try to think about targeting Taiwan. The Russians have cut back their aid because of Ukraine. The Cuban regime is propped up by the Venezuelans. You destabilize the Venezuelan regime, you've destabilized Cuba even further. Who happens to be the Secretary of State? A man named Marco Rubio. Where's Marco Rubio's family from? Refugees from Cuba. The dominoes are falling. Marco Rubio is putting them in place, and he's got buy-in from the president. And these members of Congress, who for 50 years have been proponents of the Chinese communist or the Cuban communist regime, they don't want to see the collapse of the communist regime in North America. You would think they would, because all the Cubans in Florida would go home and that place would shift back to the left. You would think that you would think it would be a good move for the Democrats in Congress to support the collapse of the Castro regime and see a lot of Cuban Americans go back to Cuba and shift Florida back towards the center away from the right. But they're not thinking about it that way. They like having a communist regime 90 miles off the coast of Florida. The Democrats do. Provides them a safe haven. If things go south here, they can go take up communism in Cuba. That's what these people are doing. Y'all, Mark, God bless you. I don't think you're probably a regular listener, because if you had been, you would have heard me questioning some of the intelligence data coming out of the Caribbean. But I actually was not only a lawyer, I was really good at constitutional law. And I can tell you that the Supreme Court has ample and copious precedents that the President of the United States is commander-in-chief and as essentially the dictator when it comes to foreign policy, short of a treaty needing the consent of the Senate. He gets a lot of leeway. So for them to stand up and tell these members of the military to disobey illegal orders, good luck with that. Good luck with it being an illegal order, because at the end of the day, let's be real honest how the way a lot of this stuff works. The winners get to decide if it's legal or illegal. And we're the winners right now. And you guys on the left are really rooting for America to lose.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
119 Coolray Carrier WSB Traffic Center. Police activity still active in Roswell. Now they're just blocking, looks like the far right lane, 400 northbound between Holcomb Bridge Road and Mansell Road, slowing you back toward Northridge. Elsewhere, 20 eastbound into DeKalb County, still dealing with the left lane construction. Panola Road exit 71 and 75 both north and southbound, seeing some moderate volume already this afternoon between Marietta and Kennesaw. And again, that's just volume. Luckily, no crashes in the way to report right now. Traffic brought to you by Total Joint Specialist. Is hip or knee pain slowing you down? Find relief with internationally renowned hip and knee care right here in Georgia. Visit TotalJointSpecialist.com today and get back to doing what you love. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
WSB's looking for a home for Hawaiian Roll. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News. He's our dog of the month with Paws Atlanta. Named for his colors, 2-year-old mystery mix, very sweet and sociable. Meet Hawaiian Roll at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, will pay the adoption fee to WSBRadio.com/dog.
I got a question the other day about premium selections at Omaha Steaks. If you want to get like the really, really good stuff, the really long, dry-aged beef and things like that, if you go to, I'm doing it right now, omahasteaks.com, and they've got what they call the hamburger menu. You know, the 3 little lines that'll be at the top left. If you scroll down, you will see corporate gifts, side meals, and the private reserve premium selection. There's great stuff there. Really, really great stuff. Now listen, if you go to Omaha Steaks today, the Sizzle All the Way sale is happening for the holidays. You get 50% off site-wide. And then at checkout, you'll see a promo code box, and you put in Erick, E-R-I-C-K, and you get an extra $35 off. I love the New York strips. In fact, I fed the guys on the front porch a couple of weeks ago with Omaha Steaks New York strips, and they're fantastic. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Use promo code Erick at checkout. Minimum order required for an extra $35 off. omahasteaks.com.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketch House help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere, live, to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
I'm here with Annette Marshall, my dear friend, Royal Marshall's widow. Annette has been an advocate for virtual imaging to get heart scans. Belinda here, and we've recently had an amazing success story that hit close to home.
For the past year or so, Royal's brother had experienced chest pains. He had gone to see other doctors and had plenty of tests run, but it wasn't until he finally got his scan at virtual imaging, and it came back abnormal with a very high calcium score. He immediately went to see a cardiologist to get it treated and had the procedure to open up his arteries from being clogged. He was days away from having a massive heart attack.
So he knew something was wrong, and he went to virtual imaging.
Absolutely.
Take the invitation from Virtual Imaging. It's free with few minimum requirements. VirtualImagingATL.com.
Virtual Imaging virtually saved my brother-in-law's life.
770-678-SCAN.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is So fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
The House of Representatives has just passed a resolution condemning socialism. 96 Democrats opposed the resolution. Tells you everything you need to know. I'm Mike. I want to take your phone call. I'm glad you called. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good, good. All right. I know why you're calling. Have at it.
Yeah, so for the people, for the listeners, my name is Mike. I am co-host on the Don't Unfriend Me show, and I also happen to work in the intelligence field with the military. And prior to any action, any kinetic action, anybody who wishes to make the argument for a strike against a boat, a narco-terrorist, whatever the argument is there, they have to run that through a series of lawyers before they get the okay to do it. So the people that are actually, like eyes on a target, and then you've got probably a few people elsewhere who are trying to coordinate for a kinetic attack, all of that gets prior washed through a series of lawyers. So it's not like these people are going to be hung out to dry. God forbid something should go wrong. That's not how it works. The lawyers would either clear it and it would be good to go, and all of a sudden from that point, the soldiers, sailors, airmen, they're not culpable. It would roll back to government lawyers. I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, so I'm glad you called in and made that point for the folks in Rio Linda and the guy Mark who called. But also, now the lawyers say this is good to go, that you can take the shot. What happens when the soldier says, "But no, I believe it's unconstitutional. I refuse to do it." Right.
So at that point, so now you've got a situation where somebody isn't performing. They would quietly be fired, and not fired from the military. They would be told that they can't be part of that unit anymore, because this is likely going to be like a JSOC kind of operation, something along those lines. Then they would be sent back to their home unit where they can just continue to live out life. I have been in that hotspot, actually. And it's a little bit unnerving, but you have to have enough backbone to say, look, the person that you think is here, I am telling you is not, or vice versa, or that, hey, I know where this person is and they are here. I have been that person in that seat. And in either case, lawyers are always over your shoulder.
Lawyers, yep. It's us who ruin everything. Okay, look, I am so glad you called in, and my chuckling is, the way you phrase it, go back and live life. All right, I got to let you go there because we are out of time, and I went over and didn't even get my ad read, but that was so worth taking the call. Thank you so much, Mike, for calling in and clarifying that, because that's the sort of information. I got the smartest listeners out there in America. You guys know everything. Okay. I do have time. All right. I was okay. I got time to do the ad that I need to do. Which one do I need to do? We're having a moment in studio, folks. It's okay. I need to tell you about Swiss America because they've been warning people about the secret war on cash for some time, and they want to give you their report completely for free. The report, so here's what's going on. And, I mentioned this the other day, that you see this more and more now where companies don't want you to pay cash. They want you to use card. They want you to use plastic, and the government actually encourages it because if you use plastic, whether it's debit or credit, the government can track your purchases. And they're coming for you that way. It applies to crypto as well. They don't like that you can just get the government to ignore you. So get the Secret War on Cash report free from Swiss America. Let them help you. That saves on your retirement and finances. All you have to do is call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. We do have breaking news this half hour.
Count one as murder. Life without a possibility of parole.
He's going away to prison for the rest of his life. That Cobb County man convicted of breaking into his neighbor's new home 4 years ago, killing the firefighter and his wife while their 2-year-old son was upstairs, has just been sentenced. So the judge sentencing him to 2 life without parole sentences, plus life, plus 20 years, plus 12 months in prison. The judge there throwing the book at him, Michael Lands, found guilty on all 13 counts, including murder, home invasion, and cruelty to children. He opted not to be at his sentencing. All right, your weather for today. Showers moving in this evening and tonight, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Afternoon highs around 77. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. The FTC automatic refunds are now now going out to millions of Amazon Prime customers. Elizabeth Schulze has details.
If you're entitled to an automatic refund, you should get an email from Amazon asking you to claim the money through PayPal or Venmo, or you can choose to get a check in the mail. This applies to people who enrolled in Prime between June 2019 and June 2025. And here's a key: didn't use the benefit more than 3 times in a year. If you don't get an automatic payment, you might still qualify for a refund. You can go to the website subscriptionmembershipsettlement.com, submit a claim starting December 24th. It is always worth checking to make sure that you're not leaving any money on the table.
And while we're talking about money, how do you feel about the economy? Most people say not so good. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index for November down 29% from a year ago to one of its lowest levels on record. Views of personal finances were the worst since 2009 and the Great Recession. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is in positive territory, up more than a full percent. NASDAQ's up more than 0.5%, and the S&P's up just shy of a full percent here at 132. Stay close. Live team coverage of traffic and weather coming your way next.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods, and check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404 400-1170 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
The holidays are here, friends, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping the buy one, get one deals every week. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. Check out the BOGO deals before you shop, by the way. Expert tip. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. My favorite experience at Publix are the BOGOs. Free item must be of equal or lesser value, of course. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
New trouble heading up into Kennesaw. It's a crash in the left lane of the 75 north ramp to 575 and the right lane of 75 north itself. So you're slow between Marietta and Kennesaw, and police activity still in the right lane in Roswell, 400 northbound before Mansell Road, exit number 8. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Mostly cloudy, showers, and even a few thunderstorms moving in late. Our better chances rain comes in this evening and continues overnight. Today's high 77. Tomorrow morning's low 64. We'll have some showers through the morning on Saturday. Gradual clearing in the afternoon tomorrow. High 76. Mostly sunny Sunday. Low 52. High 71.
Yeah, we have 77 degrees right now in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to very briefly here pull back the curtain on my radio program. I have been doing talk radio since 2011. In 2013, Rush Limbaugh had pushed me, had been a friend of mine before I got on radio, pushed me forever. I needed someone on my team who could tell me when I was screwing up. He called him, essentially, I needed a designated a-hole. That is my producer, Charlie, who also screens the phone calls, trained by the illustrious Bo Snerdley himself. I have been doing radio with Charlie since 2013. This is the very first time in my entire career of working with him where he has told me, I know you might want to move on to a new subject, but normally he's like, don't take the callers, move on. This time he's like, don't move on until you take this caller. I don't think I've ever had this happen in my career. And so I am required to take Kelly's phone call, who impressed him so much that Kelly, welcome to the show. Congratulations.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, this is the very first time my call screeners ever told me you have to take this phone call before you move on to anything else. So I'm just doing what I'm told, but you impressed him, and that's hard to do.
Well, lucky me.
All right, so what's going on?
Well, I've got a lot of years of experience under my belt, not just as a lawyer, but I'm practicing military criminal defense lawyer.
Well, yes, I can see why you impressed him.
So the number one thing that we would give as just general advice to any service member saying, gosh, I think there's this unconstitutional order, would first and foremost be you disobey it at your own risk. Because when you're found to have violated a lawful order, you will be held accountable appropriately. And that seems small when you're talking about Article 92 orders, which are, I issued you an order. I verbally, as a commander, told you to do something. But when you have an organized group inciting people to mutiny, if you have people then disobeying the orders on that basis, mutiny is a capital offense.
Oh.
It's a very serious thing to be telling people en masse collectively to do.
Wow. You know, I haven't even thought about that angle, but yeah, I can see it. Yeah. So what is your advice then for, I mean, you see these members of Congress doing this. What's your advice to these soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are questioning maybe there's something legit there given who these members of Congress are?
Well, luckily the military provides free defense counsel. So they can always call the defense counsel hotlines and ask them, hey, I think this is an unlawful order. And they can have a military lawyer tell them, here's the analysis, here's what we think, and maybe you are or maybe you aren't in your rights doing it. And then they've at least got the cover of saying that they've talked to a lawyer who agreed with them.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, listen, that is very helpful. Thank you very much. I can understand why Charlie told me that I should take your phone call. Thank you for listening as well. I really appreciate it. And I had not even thought about the mutiny there. But yeah, you've got, if you have the members of Congress urging people to essentially have mutiny. You got a problem. I'm pulling it up right now. Here is stop. No, I don't want to give you money website. 10 U.S.C. 894. In person, subject to this chapter, who with intent to usurp or override lawful military authority refuses in concert with other persons to obey orders or otherwise do duty or creates any violence or disturbance is guilty of mutiny. A person who is found guilty of attempted mutiny, sedition, or failure to suppress or report a mutiny or sedition shall be punished by death. That is federal law, 10 U.S.C. 894. Any person with intent to usurp or override lawful military authority refuses in concert with any other person, notice not any other member of the military, but with any other person to obey orders or otherwise do his duty or creates any violence or disturbance is guilty of mutiny. Any person who is found guilty of attempted mutiny, sedition, or failure to suppress or report a mutiny or sedition shall be punished by death. Well, there you have it. Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly, for that. I would never thought about that one. Yeah. So it's not just, by the way, it's not just guilty of mutiny, but guilty of attempted mutiny is punishable by death. Yeah, this is where and which one of these members of Congress is going to take their place on the gurney? Not a single one of them. Not a single one of them. All right, look, we set a lot on the table. Those of you who are on the phones, be patient with me because I got to bring up this story too. The President of the United States is ordering an expansion of drilling. What did I tell you guys the other day? I said if the president really wants to stimulate the economy, one of the things the president needs to do is expand drilling. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And Bill Weir, the whiny climate activist that CNN for some reason continues to employ, he's really upset about it. And it always makes me happy when Bill Weir is upset about something.
We got a quote from the Attorney General, Rob Bonda. Time and again, President Trump has shown the interest lies with his big oil friends profiting at the expense of our environment and public health. We won't stand for this. We're exploring our legal options. Both Senator Alex Padilla and Representative Jared Hoffman says this plan targets California, the whole West Coast, because they think we will roll over. They are wrong. We're going to fight this with everything we have. And of course, environmental groups launching their legal pushback as well. This draft plan, is an oil spill nightmare. As campaign director Joseph Gordon of the Oceans nonprofit, the last thing America needs now is a massive expansion of offshore drilling that could shut down our shores with catastrophic oil spills. So, but just for perspective, there is less than 20 offshore rigs working in the U.S. right now. 2 years ago, there was 750 onshore oil wells working. Now there's less than 550. So the market for this, screaming with demand. Oil is near $60 a barrel. These are hugely expensive things. It will take years and much resistance between now and then. But right now, what you're seeing is the latest example of that Project 2025 playbook, which is go maximum against all environmental concern.
I love that. We got to blame 2025. Bill Weir is such a progressive hack, and yet CNN treats him as some sort of objective journalist. He's not. He's a climate activist. And, he's right that the number of offshore oil wells in this country has declined, but in large part it's because the Biden administration made it deeply, deeply expensive and burdensome to get permissions to do new wells out there. If Trump expedites the process, we could have more. And that would be a good thing. Put more out there, lower prices even further, engage even further. Great to have a barrel of oil at $60. It had been at $80 to $100 when Joe Biden was president. We could bring it down even further. This is good progress. And interestingly enough, Matthew Walecki is an earth science professor, and he points out that the fossil fuel share of world energy from 2000 to 2004 hovers above 80%. It was at 85%. It's at 83% now. He notes that 25 years after promising a fossil fuel-free world, we're at a rounding error now. In 2000, these are the actual numbers. In 2000, fossil fuels powered 88% of global energy. Today, it's 86%. That's after trillions in subsidies, millions in turbines and panels, and 2 decades of last chance climate summits. The Energy Institute's brand new statistical review is a wrecking ball for the narrative. Record energy demand, record fossil fuel use, record emissions, and renewables still stuck at 6% of primary energy. It's not a political opinion. It's the Global Energy Scoreboard, and it shows the transition isn't replacing fossil fuels. It's adding on top of them with demand explodes while demand explodes in Asia. If you want to understand why net zero is delusional, why grids get shakier, why bills keep rising, and why China is laughing while burning coal and exporting your subsidized green tech, this is the data walkthrough you've been waiting for, and he's got the data. Fossil fuel powers 86% of the world. Coal, oil, natural gas dominate. Wind and solar is minor. And the world needs more and more power because of data centers. And the data centers run 24/7. The data centers don't care if the sun has set or the wind has stopped blowing. They want power. And they're going to get that power. That power is going to come every which way. And if it is coal and natural gas and oil, that's what it's going to be. And around the world, oil is still one of the more popular energy sources. And most of our cars continue to be fossil fuel driven. And yet they insist on the left that this has to change. It's not even changing. You know, down in Brazil, they built that road through the jungle to build the COP 26 or whatever, 25 summit. The UN summit is down in Brazil. They bulldozed the jungle to build the building in the jungle to have it caught on fire yesterday. And they drove the people to the summit in fossil fuel vehicles. And they flew to Brazil in fossil fuel powered airplanes. They want you to give it up. They don't want to give it up. The world is not giving up fossil fuels. The president is right. We need new platforms in the Pacific and the Atlantic. And frankly, those of you down in Florida, we need them there too. And I got to tell you, as someone who's from Louisiana, as someone who grew up in Dubai 2 blocks from the beach, the idea of these massive oil spills is nonsense. Can they happen? Yes. Do they happen? Very rarely. Very rarely. Go down to Grand Isle, Louisiana, walk the beach, you're not going to see an oil slick. Go to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, you're not going to see an oil slick, and they have lesser environmental standards than we have. Go down to Mississippi, go down to Pascagoula, go down to Biloxi, get on the beach, you're not going to see an oil slick on the beach. It's hysteria, fear-driven hysteria by the left that this is going to happen to California, to Florida, to the Carolinas. It's not. And we need the oil. The oil is there. We need it. We should go get it. It should not be taken off because you want your pristine beach. Because many times those oil platforms are over the horizon anyway. You might see the flare on the horizon. It's not cool for you to want to leave that oil there and not get it. I don't care about your pretty pristine view. I grew up, my dad was in the oil industry. I lived in Dubai. We would go to the beach, you'd look out onto the horizon, you wouldn't even see the oil platforms. They're over the horizon. We got this fear-mongering by the left about oil slicks. Go to Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. There aren't oil slicks on the beach. It's fear-mongering by environmentalists who also want you to know that we have less than 10 years to save the planet or we're all going to die, which is nonsense. They've been saying that since the 90s. It's just nonsense. And yet they just keep wanting to scare us. Stop being scared and drill the oil. It's nice that Drill Baby Drill is back. It's nice that the president has insisted we start drilling again. I want to drill again. I want big platforms in the Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific, and the Atlantic, sucking up all the oil for us to lower our prices and to export to the world to become America, Saudi Arabia. without, like, Islam. Just the United States producing energy for ourselves and for our friends. And also, it would economically hurt the Russians if we drilled out more oil ourselves. It would be good for everybody.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center still dealing with trouble up in Cobb County. It's a crash blocking the right lane of 75 northbound at 575 and the left lane of the ramp from 75 north to 575. So tough delays filling in back through Marietta. Elsewhere in Alpharetta, or heading into Alpharetta out of Roswell, the police activity is all gone. 400 northbound before Russell Road exit 8. Lingering brake lights back toward Northridge Road. Traffic brought to you by Mattress Firm. Score huge deals and better sleep at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Their sleep experts will find the perfect bed for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
WSB is your home of the Dogs. Back to pass, Stockton out of the shotgun. This week, number 4 Georgia welcomes Charlotte to Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium. Slings it, caught, touchdown number 2. Pregame begins at 8:45 tomorrow morning. In the right corner, just beyond the front right pylon. Only on your home of the Dogs, 95.5 WSB. In your face again, says Noah Thomas. Brought to you in part by Hoffman Financial Group, official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Hey, it's Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney's show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no-obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement. So you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied.
There's never a good time for your garage door to break, whether you're rushing to work or you're trying to get the kids to school. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. We know how much you rely on your garage door. That's why we offer same-day repairs, because life doesn't wait, and neither should you. When your garage door stops working, trust A1 to get you moving again fast. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service today. A1 from day one.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doorbell. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Aram here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins growing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consult. $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Don't delay peace of mind. At Ace Hardware Home Services, we make it easier to upgrade your heating, cooling, or plumbing with flexible financing options. Whether it's a new HVAC system or a major plumbing job, our licensed pros get the job done right. With payment plans to fit your budget, call 770-233-7787 or visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to schedule your free estimate. Ace Hardware Home Services, bringing helpful to your home.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello there, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. Michael has been waiting a very long time, and I want to take his phone call. Michael, how are you?
Fine, sir.
Thanks for being patient. What's going on?
I just had two quick questions. Last Sunday on 60 Minutes, there was an episode where they said Trump's part of crypto billionaire of Binance. I just wanted to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah,
pardon. And the second question.
Go ahead.
On the issue of what the Democrat senators said in Congress about the orders, what does the UCMJ specifically say? The Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Uniform Code of Military Justice, and that is codified here under federal law, is that if you engage in mutiny, it's the death penalty for you, or if you engage in an attempted mutiny. And mutiny is defined as an intent to override lawful military authority or refuse with others to obey lawful orders. And as both of the lawyers involved in the military have said, if the chain of legal command tells you that the order you've been given is legal, and you decide you don't think it is, well, that's mutiny. And if you've got members of Congress telling you to do this, and you cite those members of Congress as your reason why, well, it is in concert with any other person you've decided not to do that. That's mutiny. You get the death penalty. Now, to the 60 Minutes thing, I got to tell you, I got a real problem with the president pardoning this guy. It's Changpeng Zhao, who is actually helping the president's family. And interestingly enough, when he was asked about the pardon of the guy, the president said, I don't even know who you're talking about. The host of 60 Minutes, Norah O'Donnell, asked Trump why he pardons Zhao, even though government prosecutor says he caused significant harm to U.S. national security. Okay, are you ready? I don't know who he is, the president said. He said he didn't recall meeting Zhao, had no idea who he was, only that he had been told the businessman was a victim of a witch hunt. That's not true. That's not actually true at all. It was prosecuted by the Biden administration, but it wasn't a corrupt case. It was the guy actually not a good dude. He pled guilty. He pled guilty to enabling money laundering. He served 4 months in prison. He stepped down as the chief executive of Binance. He didn't fight it in court. He took the plea deal to plead guilty. He could have fought it because he could afford the lawyers. He had lots of money to afford the lawyers, and instead, he took the plea deal, pled guilty to enabling money laundering, and then Donald Trump pardons him. He says, I don't even know who the guy is. I just heard that he was overly zealously prosecuted. No, he deserved to be prosecuted. And if you're upset with Joe Biden and the auto pen and the pardons, you should be concerned at least that this president is now on record admitting he pardoned someone he didn't know anything about. It was not a good look for the president of the United States to do this. It just wasn't. Now, when we come back, I got to shift gears because there's a story percolating that has kind of blown my mind. By the way, so my son has a teacher who English is her first language, and when she tells the kids that something is going to blow their mind, she says it's going to blow your brains out. Among other things that I will not mention on this radio program. This is going to blow your brain, or it's going to blow your mind, that it is now right-coded to want safe streets in your neighborhood. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back. But first, let me tell you about Vision Computers. It's holiday season. If you got a kid that wants a gaming PC, Vision Computers can build it for you. I know because they built my son a gaming PC, and he loves it. And the GPU is incredible. No game has been slow on his computer. He loves it. It's giving him a competitive advantage against some of his other friends, too. And he's got that special number he can call if there's ever a problem. And in 15 seconds or less, he gets the answer to what's going on. And Vision takes care of him. And it comes with the computer. If you want the standalone care from Vision, well, you can get that, too. $199 a year per computer. Call them at 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com. Nationwide, they help people. They help companies with managed IT. They help families. 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. You might be able to save some money. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Take care of Christmas with Vision Computers.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta,
The suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
if it's happening on the roads
roads leading to Atlanta.
A tanker truck crashed into the median on the JFK.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Winter culprits to squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day. Stay up to date. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. Households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
News, weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk. At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. The man found guilty in the murders of Amber and Justin Hicks 4 years ago in Cobb County will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Formerly waiving his right to appear, Matthew Land was a no-show as his trial judge gives him 3 life sentences, 2 without parole, plus 21 years in prison. Tears flowing nonstop as victims describe the pain of losing Amber and Justin Hicks, loving people who lived their life with purpose. Amber's best friend, Heather Farkowski.
The truth is that 2 extraordinary people were taken from us.
Justin's father, Timothy Hicks, says because of his faith, he forgives Lands, but wanted him to get the maximum sentence possible.
It's not mental rehabilitation. He needs honors and exorcism.
For Monica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
78 degrees in Atlanta. Wind to showers move in. Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Holiday travel ramps up.
The start of this holiday travel season got off to a pretty good one for the airlines. They looked at yesterday as the beginning.
Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve reports the holiday travel period runs through next weekend.
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving also very busy as millions of people are trying to stretch that holiday weekend just a little bit longer, perhaps making it a 10-day vacation.
More than 4 million people are expected to pass through Hartsfield-Jackson Airport during the Thanksgiving travel period. The GBI investigating after a suspect is shot during a standoff in Lithonia. DeKalb Police spokesman Blaine Clark says police were called out to a possible hostage situation.
Officers responded to the 7900 block of Arrow Drive in reference to a person being held against their will.
The female suspect was taken to the hospital in critical condition. No one else is injured. A man faces charges after getting into a car accident, then leaving his critically injured passenger at the scene without calling for help. Duluth police arrest 20-year-old Samuel Contreras Garcia after the crash at the intersection of Beaufort and Duluth highways. He reportedly hit a utility pole, ejecting the passenger. Nearby cameras capture the man leaving the scene on foot without calling 911. Now, WSB Money Update, a rally on Wall Street on hopes of a Fed rate cut.
New York Federal Reserve President John Williams sparked the market comeback after telling an event that he thinks a rate cut in December would be appropriate, given his assessment that downside risks to the labor market are increasing, while upside risks to inflation are somewhat lessening.
Money Report says Wall Street odds jumped in favor of a third straight quarter-point cut at the Fed's final meeting of the year next month. It is 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
2 homes, same block. One sold for way more because they used or move first, skip the stress, and sell for top dollar. Don't wait. Get your free home valuation now at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Will my hair really grow back? Do I still get to have a birthday party? Can my daddy come into the machine with me? Will you stay with me today, Mommy?
Every day, kids at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta ask questions they should never have to. By giving today, you can help us answer them. With your support, our kids get the care and treatment they need. And even a birthday, they'll never forget. Give to Children's for that. Donate today at choa.org/give.
Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Reliable Heating and Air will keep you warm with a new furnace for $59.99 a month and fed too with free Turkey Tuesdays.
holidays. Listen to my show every Tuesday for your chance to win, and visit reliableair.com to schedule your furnace check.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. My dad, Mike, who doesn't know that I did something crazy.
Oh, no. What now?
I took some of my favorite pieces of jewelry, I packed them up, ready to go in D. Geller & Son blue boxes, and I tagged them at 60% off.
Did what?
I'm calling it Blue Box Friday. Skip the little stampede, come get one-of-a-kind jewelry for 60% off.
Well, if we're doing it, let's go all in. Run it all weekend.
Next weekend, November 28th through 30th in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Not so good out on the roadway. Still got this crash in Cobb County, 75 northbound at 575. The right lane of 75 north is blocked. The left lane of the 75 north ramp to 575 is blocked, so slow through Marietta. Also, just found new trouble on the south side in Stockbridge. Right lane crash, 75 northbound before I-675 delays back into McDonough. And a left lane crash in DeKalb, 285 northbound the outlet before Glenwood Road, exit 44. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad. It's headed to 77, tie the record high today. Showers moving in late this afternoon and evening and continuing overnight.
80 in Marietta, 79 in Lawrenceville, and 78 in Riverdale. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Cayaccio, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, greetings. It is Eric Erickson here, and it is Open Line Friday. The phone number is 877-973-7425, should you wish to be on the program. We've had some amazing calls today. Those of you on the phones, be patient with me, because I've also got a show to do beyond you. But I got to commend you guys and my call screener today for great phone calls. The one guy called back very angry with Kelly and me for setting him straight, and he decided I was engaged in propaganda, even though I just gave him the facts. It's always kind of funny when people don't like the facts, they believe you're engaged in propaganda. I gotta talk about a new trend. Do you remember a while back, it was at the African American History Museum in D.C. and elsewhere, they came up with a list of things that were essentially based on whiteness. In other words, they were quote-unquote white-coded. What does white coding mean? Well, according to the Smithsonian DEI project, signs of whiteness include being on time, being responsible for your work. Hang on, I gotta find this to Smithsonian whiteness culture. This comes up. Yes, this is crazy. It was defended by a lot of progressives, but yes, this is white culture. Aspects and assumptions of whites and white culture in the United States. White dominant culture or whiteness refers to the ways white people and their traditions, attitudes, and way of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practice in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized aspects
aspects of white culture, including people of color. What are the examples given? Rugged individualism, the idea of self-reliance, independence and autonomy are highly valued and rewarded. The nuclear family, a father, mother, 2.3 children as the ideal social unit. The husband is the breadwinner and head of household. The wife is the homemaker subordinate to the husband. Children should have their own rooms and be independent. The emphasis on the scientific method with objective, rational, linear thinking, cause and effect relationships, quantitative analysis. I'm not making this up. History, based on Northern European immigrant experience in the United States, heavily focused on the British Empire, the primacy of Western, Greek and Roman culture, and Judeo-Christian traditions. The Protestant work ethic. Hard work is the key to success. Work before play. If you didn't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. Religion. Christianity is the norm. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. No tolerance for deviation from single God concept. Status, power, and authority. Wealth equals worth. Your job is who you are. Respect authority. Heavy value on ownership of goods, space, property, materialism. Future orientation. You plan for the future, delay gratification. Progress is all best. Tomorrow will be better thinking. Time. Following rigid time schedules. Time being viewed as a commodity. Aesthetics being based in European culture. Steak and potatoes. Bland is best. Which is nonsense. Women's beauty based on blonde and thin or Barbie. That's kind of nonsense. Man's attractiveness based on economic status, power, and like that's pretty much everywhere. Holidays being based on Christian religions, white history, and male leaders. Justice being based on English common law, protecting property rights and entitlements. Intent mattering. That's actually, that's the way it's supposed to work. And then competition. Be number one, win at all costs. A winner-loser dichotomy, action-oriented. Master and control nature must always do something about a situation. Aggressiveness and extroversion, decision-making, majority rules when whites have power. In parentheses, they put in communication. The King's English rules. Written tradition, avoid conflict. Don't show emotion, don't discuss personal life. Be polite. That's all whiteness. I gotta tell you, that's white culture. We're winning because of it. That's why we're number one, and it's not really white culture. It's not, but they wanted to claim these things were white culture. No, this isn't white culture. This is a successful culture. As an aside, I had a friend of mine who was worked for Teach for America for a number of years. If you're familiar with Teach for America, kids get out of college, they have degrees in the things, they get trained, and they go serve in rural parts of the country that need teachers. And I had a friend of mine who was a Teach for America teacher who worked in northern Mississippi. I want to say it was Grenada, Mississippi, somewhere like that. And he was teaching a bunch of middle schoolers and told the middle schoolers at one point was grading papers in his English class and just sighed, I wish you would learn the King's English. And one of the kids said, well, teacher, Elvis was from Memphis. Yeah, Elvis was from Memphis. The king was from Memphis. The King's English. So this thing took off during the Obama years, white culture, aspects and assumptions of whiteness, and it really took on a life of its own. And I want to be clear here. These are not attributes of whiteness. The scientific method is not whiteness. The Protestant work ethic is not whiteness. A Western society is not whiteness. It's winning. The Protestant work ethic isn't dominant because it's white, it's dominant because it works. The focus on Western history is because we're of the Western tradition. We derive from the Europeans. The idea of the English common law is because we derive from England. The protection of private property comes from a free market system that values entrepreneurialism. None of this white. It just happens to be it was a lot of white people, or to some degree, brown-skinned people in Southern Europe who figured these things out. But the progressives have decided it's all white and it's all bad. And there's a new phenomenon happening, and this blows my mind. I want to read for
this highlighted in this piece from The Atlantic. I talked about it the other day, but I want to read for you this again. 5 years ago, about incoming freshmen at UC San Diego arrived with math skills below high school level. Now, according to a recent report from UC San Diego faculty and administrators, the number is more than 900, and most of those students don't fully meet middle school math standards. Many students struggle with fractions and simple algebra problems. Last year, the university, which admits fewer than 30% of undergraduate applicants, launched a remedial math course that focuses entirely on concepts taught in elementary and middle school. According to the report, more than 60% of students who took the previous version of the course couldn't divide a fraction by 2. One of the course's tutors noted that students faced more issues with logical thinking than with math per se. They didn't know how to begin solving word problems. A lot of this, by the way, again, comes from Common Core problems that were supposedly the Common Core designed to fix these problems, made it worse. What UC San Diego did is it lowered its standards. It stopped doing standardized tests for admissions. It wanted a more diverse group of people. So this attorney tweets this in response. I want to read you this. One of my more right-wing positions is that classical education on traditional subjects with high expectations for students was very much a good thing, and we should find a way to get our education system back to it. Now, let me read you another one. This is from Alex Tremeth of the Breakthrough Institute. I live in Oakland, California, and whenever my social circle expresses a preference for orderly public spaces and safe transit, they always include the obligatory, I know I sound like a Republican. This has now become a thing where if you believe our educational system should ensure every child gets a good education, and there are consequences if not, that's quote-unquote right-coded. If you believe you should not be poured, have lighter fluid poured on you and set on fire in the subway, that's apparently right-coded now. If you believe that public transit should be safe, that's right-coded now. So the success of the Western world is now white-coded, and the success of your children in public schools is right-coded. It sounds like whiteness and being right are winning. And I don't mean that in the actual way people on the left would take it in support of racism or anything. It's just you define, the left has defined success as being white and right. And that's not a good thing. And that's going to cost them further in the future, which I'm fine with it costing them further in the future as they continue to lose elections. But just think about the thinking now on the progressive left that if you believe in being on time and responsible, that's whiteness. That provides an excuse for non-white people to fail and for them to expect the rest of us to carry the water for them. Well, you want me to be on time? I'm not white. There will be a consequence for that person. But also, the idea that I shouldn't be mugged in the local park is somehow right-coded. And this is a new thing, too, this idea of left code and right code, as opposed to it's just common sense stuff. My buddy Scott Jennings, I was invited to take part in a debate with Scott. I couldn't do it. It was women last Friday at Yale. He was defending President Trump as a conservative, and my point to Scott would have been, I think Noah Rothman from National Review took my spot, and my side was going to be the president's not a conservative. And if you actually talk to President Trump, as I have done, President Trump says he's not a conservative, he's just for common sense. And the reason, if you want to get a sense of why he's been winning, is because of common sense. It really is just common sense that taxpayers who live in a city should not be regular victims of crime. But the left now thinks that's part of living in a city. It should be common sense that if you take public transit in your city, you should not